What does it take to be an athlete your entire life and never let anything stop you? What happens when a woman who loves to win decides to build a club, write a book, and lead other women all at the same time? And what can a woman who boxes, runs, lifts, and rides teach us about staying in her flow state after 40? Stay with me. You don't want to miss this episode. Greetings and welcome to the Elevated Flo Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Flo, the Black Rowing Queen. The Elevated Flo Podcast spotlights elite and everyday female athletes, mostly over 40, sharing how they elevate their game and their flow in sports, wellness, work, and life. These are powerful stories of strength, resilience, wisdom, and inspiration to help women stay active, age strong, and pass the torch to the next generation. Today, I have a very special guest with me. Please help me welcome Miss Ruenia Wilkerson to the Elevated Flo Podcast. How are you today? Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Awesome,
excited
awesome.
to speak on fitness for women, especially women over 40, because it's very important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let me give you a formal introduction. Miss Ruenia L. Wilkerson is a native North Texan, an author, a visual artist, and the president and founder of an all-female writing and social club. She is active in running, basketball, weight training, and mixed martial arts. And for her, there is not a sport she cannot play well if given the time to learn it. She loves to win. But beyond the trophies and the titles, Miss Ruenia is a woman of many hats and many helmets, building community, leading other women, and showing up fully in every arena of life that she's put in.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we've been trying to get this together for a long time, so we're just going to get right into it. You've been an athlete your entire life. Take me back to when you first started playing sports. What was the first sport you played, and what age were you when you started playing?
Say the first constructive sport that I ever played or was a part of was cheerleading. Right. I started cheerleading in the 5th grade, and a lot of people don't consider cheerleading a sport, but it is a sport. You know, anytime you move your body.
Right. I'm glad to hear you say that. Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Anytime you are moving and functioning with a group of people, that is considered a sport, right? And they have recognized cheerleading as being a sport, which I'm so glad that they have done that.
Yes, absolutely.
Just like any other sport, like football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, you could get a scholarship for that, right? You could get a scholarship for a cheerleader. It's a sport.
That's true.
So that was the first sport that I started playing. And I did a cheerleading from 5th grade all the way up until 8th grade. And then once I got in high school, I left cheerleading alone and went straight into basketball. But I was
Okay.
before I played high school basketball, I played what we call street ball. Football, basketball, any sport that kids would, get together and play. I did that. And, as girls, we're not supposed to be boys, right? But I used to be boys as a young age, from being a little girl all the way up until now. I can still play guys in basketball because I've done it on a different level, high school, college, and just, playing with the boys. But that was the first sport that I played, was cheerleading. As soon as I went into playing basketball as a freshman, I didn't realize how good I was, right? And I got moved up to varsity my freshman year in the tournaments, and I played the varsity and the seniors. But I had always been the captain of the basketball team. And then after doing basketball my 10th grade year, the coach asked me to run track. I really didn't like track at first because it's an all-day thing. But I used to love running in the streets as a little girl, back doing the cheerleading, back playing a little street ball and all of that. So we run up and down the street with our shoes off. So here I am running track. And the only thing that made me stick with track was because of the medals. So, right. And my senior year, there was a coach change up because we had a female coach, freshman, sophomore, junior year. football coach became our varsity coach. And the first thing he asked me on the first day of school, he said, Wilkerson, which sport are you going to play off season? Are you going to play volleyball? Or are you going to run cross country? I said, neither. I'm the captain of the basketball team. That's all I'm doing. He said, well, I'm the new coach of the
Mm,
varsity girls. You're going to have to pick one. And I was like, what? Okay. So I chose volleyball. I didn't like it. My arms were swollen up. I went to the coach. I said, well, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do this because I don't want to mess up my wrist when basketball season hit. He said, okay, I guess you have to get out there and run cross country. Ran cross country. My first meet, I was like, oh, this is not for me. Black people don't run in the woods. This is not for me. So I quit, went back into,
Lord.
yeah, no, and I'm saying that to say this. Went back in the gym and started playing volleyball. Became the spiker. Got first team all district my first year playing. I said, I wish I would have played all year round. I mean, all my high school year because jumping and spiking the ball helped me in basketball. So I always tell people,
Mm,
play as many sports as you can. And right now to this day, do many different exercises. If you love to build, just don't run, just don't lift weights. Your body has to be challenged, right? So
right, right.
I and I started playing volleyball and I like volleyball. Then after college, I started back doing my modeling thing, but I never stopped playing sports. Then all of a sudden I got back into running and I love the fact, I mean, I can run every day. I do
Mm,
sprints. I warm up with 3 miles. Then I go in the gym and I play basketball. Then I come back and I do some sprints. Right. And I always said I want to run into my high school coach so I could tell him I have became a runner.
That's awesome.
I
That's
cannot
awesome.
I cannot go without running. I mean, it could be 112 degrees. It could be below 30. I just, wrap up and I run because once your body warms up, you know, you're fine. But I've been an athlete all my
Right, right, right.
they said I must have been running around in my mama's stomach when she was carrying me. But yeah, at 59, no, at 59, it's just that's when I'm at work, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to get off work because I always have my workouts planned.
Mm, mm. Well, you know what? Yes, you've obviously been an athlete all your life. And I said in your bio, you love to win. Was there a moment early in your athletic life where you realized that winning was something that actually drove you?
Yes, yes. And I wrote it in my book. I go through my whole life in my book. And I actually stated when I first became a cheerleader, I was co-captain. I made a promise to myself the next year I would be captain, and I did. I look at myself as being the person, me versus me, right? And when you look at yourself as being the person that you want to be, you don't look at no one else beating you.
Mm,
So that you have to find a motivation from your heart. And if you are the type of athlete that loves to win, then always challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. Even when I'm out running and
yeah,
I'm running by myself, I know I can do my miles in a certain minutes. And I try to elevate myself every day. I don't care if it's a second faster than what I did the other day. I still want to
right.
do what I did yesterday because yesterday is gone.
That's awesome. A lot of times when people are like really motivated and self motivated and athletic, sometimes it translates into other parts of their lives. And then sometimes people compartmentalize it. How would you say your athletic identity shapes who you became outside of sports?
Well, and like I said, I've always been the captain of each sport that I've ever played, even cheerleader, even basketball in school. And when you are so used of a leadership role, it becomes natural and people tend to follow you. So guess what following you do? It pumps you up. Even in the job,
Yeah.
the workforce, I learned my job and I became supervisor, right? So it's just giving. It's a God-given talent to be considered a person that wants to be followed. And there's nothing wrong with following as long as you're following someone that's doing something positive. But for me, and even when I became a biker, that was one of the things that a lot of women was saying, hey, you make a great president. because you know how to talk to people, and with your athleticism and always being a part of a group function. When you're a part of a group function, it makes you a great leader and it makes you uh, a contender of someone following or reaching other people that is new to any kind of game, any kind of sports game, job,
Hmm.
anything. People that have leadership skills make people comfortable.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say is the sport that challenged you the most, and what did getting good at it teach you? Because you said if you given the chance, you could be good at any sport if you had the chance to learn it. So which one would you say challenged you the most?
Would say, and it is a sport because it comes on national TV. Martial arts. That was a very big challenge for me because martial arts it's an exercise, it's a workout, it's a core workout. But I would have never thought that I wanted to be in martial arts, and I'm gonna tell you why I chose that sport. When my sons went to college, because I can run right now, but my sons will be with me. So they was like, Mama, what are you going to do to protect yourself? You can't be out running late and protect yourself. And I still, with me knowing martial arts, I still won't put myself in that kind of position. But
Right.
if I'm running and I run along, because I run outside the perimeter of where everybody else run, because you know how there's tracks and you have to run so many laps to actually get that 3 miles. I run out so I don't cross over and go. So I'm running out of the perimeter. Anything happen, I can protect myself. So martial arts is, and they call it mixed martial arts. It works so many different
Hmm.
parts of your body, your mind, your heart, it's protection, your legs, your arms. It's a challenge and it's not easy, but I think every woman should learn some kind of protection skill sport.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
We have to because of we are going to be challenged by the predators. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And the lovely part about martial arts or any kind of kickboxing, because I did kickboxing also, it's not written on your forehead. You don't have a shirt on that says I
Right.
know how to kickbox, right? A person look at me and say straight up,
Be
I'm a
like,
runner.
I will kick your ass. No,
Absolutely. Yes. I will
it don't
kick
say
your
on.
face off. Yeah. I'm running. I'm not going to run from you. I'm going to square up with you. Right. So, yeah, it's like a hidden secret, but a lot of people don't understand how much of a workout it is. I didn't realize it was. And I'm going to tell you what motivated me. It's the funniest thing.
Mm,
I was chosen on a jury trial. I was the only black person. Right. And the white ladies was talking about kickboxing. And I'm just looking like, damn, you don't even look like a kickboxer, you know? And so they told me that you would be perfect for kickboxing because you're tall and you have long legs. You think I didn't go and do some kickbox training? And I was like, wow, I didn't realize how hard this was. But
mm,
it is especially like I said, with me being a runner and me being small framed. Yeah, I better know
right,
how to protect myself some kind of way because, you
right.
know, yeah. But yeah, that is one of my most challenging sports because I never did it as a kid. I grew up doing basketball. I grew up running volleyball, but to be grown and learning a whole different sport like kickboxing and martial arts, I do this a lot. Like, yeah, I'm a martial arts.
Okay,
And when
that's
I tell
awesome.
people that, when I say something about martial arts and somebody knows something about martial arts, I'm like, yeah, switch roundhouse kick. They was like, oh shit, you really do know what you're talking about. I was like, yeah, I know the terminology.
So now I wanted to move on to how we actually met.
Hmm.
Now, we met from another friend of mine that I had on the show,
Hmm.
and I think you were doing a presentation. Was it on mixed martial arts, or what was the presentation about when you met Juanita?
When I met Juanita, I had just got through doing 6 sprints, 600s, because I warm up. And she was coming to her car and I had a knee brace on. And she was like, oh, is your knee okay? I said, yeah, it's okay. I said, I have active injury. So I run and I'm getting ready to go play basketball. So I just, protect my knee with the knee brace because she had on one too. And she was like, oh, you're getting ready to play basketball. I said, yeah. She was like, well, I just got through working out. And we started talking about sports and being in shape. And, she's a swimmer, right? And I was like, yeah. I said, I do such A through Z rather. And I told her I also have a book out. She was like, "Oh, okay." So I got the book and she saw it. She said, "I'm finna buy it. Let's buy it. I'm gonna buy it." I said, "Okay." And we just got through. I mean, we talked for almost an hour, hour in the sun. And I just so happened to be off that day. And we got to talking, and then she told me about you. She said, "Hey, you need to be on my friend's podcast because she talks about women over 40 being in shape and staying in shape." And she was like, "Your story, your book, and everything." I showed her my video. She said that really motivates me, and just to know that you do so many different sports and you just ran in this hot sun and you finna go play basketball. I said, "Yeah, I'm finna spend about an hour on the
Right.
court." And I got to telling
I
her,
thought you had done a presentation or something. I forgot that that's how it was. It was the whole
"Mhm,
knee brace thing that you guys connected on. Yeah, she was really excited when she told me about you.
yeah, yeah, it was the whole knee brace thing. And it was just like we just came together and just well, I mean, like I said, we talked for a nice little minute there. Nice little minute. And I went on in the gym and did my little basketball thing, and then I go up and do my weight training. I mean, I go do so many different little exercises all in one day. And I don't have an off day when it comes to training. I don't. I don't. But if I don't feel it, I won't do it because that's how you can injure yourself. If your body's saying, "Hey, not today," just say, "Not today." Even if you do some yoga,
Right.
you know, do something
Mhm.
light. But that's how I
Rest and
know it.
recover sometimes you have to.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. And especially with weight training, because I remember one guy had told me years ago, he was like, "You are pounding your body every day with weights." He said, "You should alternate. If you do full body on Monday, rest on Tuesday. But if you want to work out every day, upper body Monday, lower body Tuesday, and do it that way so you can recover."
Right.
So I listen. I will tell anybody weights are one of the most dangerous sports that you can train in, especially with men, because I was pushing 845s and I was 120 something pounds then. Yeah, leg press. And I'm not, you saw my cover of my book, right? I'm not big, but I could do it because my legs were so strong because I was a runner. And this guy stopped me at the gym. He said, "Just because you can do it don't mean you should." So
Mm.
you're gonna blow your knees out because
That's a word.
yes, it's scales of weight that you're supposed to lift when it comes to your body size. So
Right, right, right.
people make a lot of mistakes when it comes to weight training, especially men. You know why? Because men think they can lift 1,000 pounds, and they can, and then they mess up their back, and you're done. You are done. And then with
Ronnie
women,
Coleman is a perfect example of that.
it's so
I
many
mean,
of
a
'em.
lot of bodybuilders, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. I
It's
just think
so
about
many.
how many surgeries he's had,
Mhm.
and yeah,
Yeah. And the correct way to lift weights. I mean, I've been corrected
yeah.
so times, in so many back in the day when I first started weight training. "Oh, you lifting that wrong, you're gonna hurt your back. Are you doing that wrong?" It's like, "Oh, okay." I bet you if you do it the correct way, you won't be able to use those tens. I couldn't do no tricep kickbacks with
Mm,
tens. I had to go down to fives. I was like, because I was doing it the wrong way. So it makes
mm.
a very big difference. And Imma say this, especially with women that are training to lose weight, don't lift weights, don't lift heavy, because 'cause you're gonna feel it's gonna be bulky, you know what I mean? And the day that you stop, then it turns into bulky fat, and you just hadn't lost no weight. Lift light, more reps. I lift heavy because I wanna build, because 'cause I'm small framed. So you gotta know the game. You gotta know the do's and don'ts of any sport.
And
Yes,
your body, because
yes.
I am a personal trainer.
Mhm,
And I have this argument or disagreement with people all the time about
mhm.
like people not wanting to bulk up, but
Yeah.
women don't really have naturally enough testosterone to bulk up the way that a lot of women that they see are
Mhm.
bulky.
Mm,
So I do encourage women that want to lose weight to lift weights because the lean muscle that you build with lifting weights will burn more fat than just doing cardio. So it has to be a mix, but you have to do that progressive overload and know what your body can take. Because
Right.
a lot of times what happens with people is they see stuff on the internet, social media, whatever, and they try to mock what someone else did with their journey. But sometimes people don't always tell you everything that they did to lose the weight or whatever. So that's why I think it's so important for people to get a certified personal trainer and not just someone that say, oh, this is what I did and this helped me. Because, it's not, everything's not going to work for everybody. So, yeah.
Right. Our bodies are different.
But definitely over 40, you need to be lifting weights. Yeah.
And like I say, it just for me, what I've learned with me in lifting weights is that I lift heavy because I want to build. Because my brother was a personal trainer at 24-Hour Fitness years ago, and that was one of the things that he told me. He was like, "Hey, if you lift heavy with a small frame, of course, you will build more muscles in there." But I had to take, my metabolism was so high, so I was still. It wasn't time for me to pick up weight. But as soon as I hit that 40 mark, it made a difference. Because, you don't burn as much as you used to,
Right.
You don't burn as much. I'm proud of my 140 right now. And I don't even look for 140 with weight. But it's just that I knew what I used to be 10 years ago. I know what I was 20 years ago. And like I said, I've always been small. I'm like 140, I'm still 140 and I still wear the same clothes, right? But,
Wow.
it is. It's just keep moving. That's what I tell anybody. Just keep
Keep
moving.
moving.
And
Keep
I'm in
moving.
banking. I've been in banking for 30 years, and that's all we do is sit.
Mm.
And we have debt now that we can raise up. Soon as I get there, I stand up for a whole hour before I sit down, and then I'm constantly standing up because
That's
everything
good.
slows down. Everything slows down, and guess where our body fat goes? 4.
Right. Midsection.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
4.
There's research that says that even for people that work out all the
Mhm.
time, if you
Uh-huh.
work a 9 to 5, you still need to move. You can't just sit down for 8 hours,
Yes.
and take a 15-minute break, a 30-minute lunch or whatever.
Mhm.
So it could be dangerous just as dangerous for people that work out, whether it's before work or after work, but just on a regular basis, if you're still sitting down, it's
Uh-huh.
dangerous. You talk
Yeah.
about the smoking is the new, or being sitting is the new smoking. It's like
Oh.
some of the same diseases that you could get from smoking back in the day, you
Mhm.
can get from living a sedentary life now. So yeah,
Mhm.
you definitely. I have a standing desk right here, and that was
Mhm.
something that I really wanted for a long time. And I have to remind myself all the time, like, okay, stand up,
Stand
walk
up.
around, because you
Mhm.
can get that desk for hours and get stuck and
Yeah.
forget. So, yeah,
That is so
that's
true.
important.
That is so
And
true.
that's the same with also hydrating yourself and eating, because on these jobs, a lot of times it's like people don't have the time all the time to get up and drink water, or if they don't have it at their desk, but even take full lunches where they're eating.
I'm like, make time for you because you are. This is a one life. We don't get a second chance to live a life. You know what I'm saying? We don't get a second chance at living. Once we're gone, we're gone. Have you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish as a grown human being? And it's not sitting and being still. Our bodies are made to move. And I tell people that
Right.
all the time. Our bodies are made to move. And go back to what you're saying, each body frame is different, right? Regardless of,
Hmm.
and we lose or pick up weight differently. You have to find
Right.
something that
Right.
works for you. You can't go by what I'm saying, right? Because what I'm saying
Right.
might not work for you. And just have to be committed. And I know it's hard because we as grown women, 40 and over, life, family, everybody, we put everybody before us. Stop. You know, stop.
Right. We talk about that all the time. Yes, I'm so happy that we are really realizing how important it is to put ourselves first. And
Mhm.
I've talked about it. Somebody just talked about it that I spoke to the other day about, how on the airplane they say if we lose cabin pressure and the mask comes down, you got to rescue yourself first. You got to put the mask on yourself first before you can help anybody. And I'm
Mhm.
so glad that we're starting to understand that. And, it's for some people it was too late and they didn't understand it, but that's something that we're actually teaching the young girls coming behind us. So
Right.
I wanted to go back to you talking about being in banking for
Mhm.
30 years and you're still in banking. What would you say the environment is like for you? I know you said when you go to work, you stand
Mhm.
up, and
Mhm.
how supportive do you feel like the work environment has been to your active lifestyle and your just overall wellness?
Well, like you said, we have breaks, right? And that's one thing that I do. On my break, I take my 15-minute break. I go and walk. And then when I eat at my desk. I'm off the clock, but I'm standing and eating. Because in the break room, you're going to sit down. And then that next 15-minute break, I'm out walking again. Right.
Mm,
So and a lot of people are starting to do that at work. Cause I'm like, y'all, you just can't sit here. Not at our
right.
age. And you just can't. And that's one of the things that I've always done on every job. Anytime I get a break. And sometimes we have so much downtime. I'm walking. I'm walking. You have to find some time even when you're on the job. And like I said,
Mhm.
banks it's a lot of sitting and when like I said earlier, when you sit everything goes to the core. And guess what? Everybody like to do
Right,
snack,
right, right.
snack, 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 snack. You have to snack on the right thing though. I've never
Right.
seen something. Yeah. And I was explaining this at work one day last week. This lady was like, well, you always eating healthy stuff. I'm jealous. I was like, don't be jealous. I'm like that candy bar and that sweet soda, all that sugar, that's where you're fat. That's the worst thing you could do to your body. Well, what do you
Right,
eat?
right, right.
You eat heavy at work. I said, I eat a heavy lunch because I know when I leave here, I'm going straight to the track, right? So my light meal is my dinner meal. And you really have to establish yourself, especially if you at work more than you're at home. In some jobs are 10-hour shifts or my job is an 8-hour job, but it takes me an hour to get there through traffic and an hour to get back. So I'm gone for what,
Mm,
12 hours. So just think if I'm sitting that whole time, that's 12 hours of sitting. And then I'm gonna come home and, go to bed and I'm sitting again, watching TV. We sit too
right.
much. We sit too much. I wish jobs had the computers where you could be on a treadmill. I would love to see how many people would do it.
Mm,
I know I would. You know, I've seen some companies and companies are trying, especially the bank that I work for, because they have so many different workout plans. They even have where you can
mm.
stand up and do workout exercises on our website. So they're
Okay.
really, yeah, they're really motivated because they know that a sitting job, that's killing a lot of people. I saw people that came into work with push chairs and left work and then come back died. Just being that out of shape. Yes. Heart
Mm,
problems. All of this stuff goes into sitting all these years. We brag about being in banking at 30 and 40 and 50 years, right? No, it's not one of those careers that you could just be in, but not take care of yourself. That's too much sitting. I'd rather be on a
right, right, right.
construction site. I'm serious because I love to
Yeah.
move that much because I know if we don't exercise our heart, and not only is banking a sitting job, it's a stressful job. It's a
And
stressful job.
that was gonna be my next question about the mental
Mhm,
part and the self-care. Like, how do you balance that or
mhm,
harmonize it with the physical part? What is it that you do to protect your mental health, get peace, aside from exercising
mhm.
and, just combating the stress that that career could bring on?
When I first hit my desk, like I said, I raise that desk up and I stand. I log on, I put my headset on, and I'm listening to motivational speeches. I already have my assignment on the desk because you have to. You have to, have something to focus on besides that computer all day, every day,
Mhm.
5 days a week. You keying. That's all we do, keying, checks and balancing and all of that headset on. The outside, you have to tap me on my shoulder, hit me up on Teams, or we say ping me for me to say, oh, okay, so you want me to do that? Okay, I got it. Because I'm headset on, headset. Motivational speeches. I'm listening to people
Mm,
that are talking about how to take care of your mind, how to take care of your heart. Denzel is one of
that's
my
good.
favorite motivational speeches. And I love one of his motivational speeches where he said, I'm so tired of people telling people to have something to fall back on. What you gonna fall if you fall back? No, fall forward so you can see what you're falling into and you can brace yourself and catch
Mm,
yourself. So that is an exercise for me. That is an exercise is it because it all starts here with any kind of workout you do, with any kind
mm-hmm.
of job you do. If your mind ain't right, you're gonna do a terrible job.
Everything.
Mhm.
That's right.
You're gonna do a
That's
terrible
right.
job. That's just like me going out and running, and I know I can run my miles under 8 minutes and 30 seconds, but if my mind ain't right, my first mile, 9 minutes, what did I do wrong? Why is it so you have to physically be fit here before you take off. And even when I'm running,
Yeah.
I have my motivational music playing or whatever I wanna listen to. I have that playing, and that pushes me.
That's awesome. Well, I wanted to ask you about your book. What exactly is your book about, and what inspired and motivated you to write your book?
Okay. My book is about my whole life. And what, let me start with what motivated me to write my book. You know how, in general, we talk about our lives, what we say that we're not supposed to talk about at work. We just talk, hey, I'm going through this, da, da, da. And one girl told me years ago, she said, you could write a book about your life story. I was like, definitely wouldn't do that. But to answer the question, I was on the bank for almost 18 years and managers changed. And there was a lot of prejudice going on, body shaming, because I deal with that all the time, right? I deal with
Mm,
because I'm a certain size, I can wear certain clothes. Now, it's in the dress code, but why are you mad? And I tell women, you know what I say? If you saw the way I work out, you will understand why I can wear this outfit, right? I wear heels. I look really nice. I feel good. Because, when you work
mhm.
out, you like the way you look. You're going to like the way you look and feel in clothes, right?
Right.
So I went through a lot of discrimination. I sued this company and I won. That's what motivated me to write my book. So I was like, well, if I'm going to write about this, I'm going to go through my whole life, not only
Wow.
the mid part of what happened with the bank, but I've been through a lot of family drama as we all have been through. So I
Mm,
started from the beginning. I started from a motorcycle wreck that I had. And I go all the way through 2025. I mean, I put my heart and soul in that book. And it motivated me to start back with the music thing because
mm,
there were a couple of situations that happened and I was like, put this book to the side. Okay, I'm finna write a rap about this. So I did my intro video. And once I did the title song, the intro video made sense. And then I'm free. And all I did with I'm free was I was saying I'm free from everything that I wrote about in my book. My first verse is about
mm.
a little family thing that happened with me and my sons and my family. And then there was the bank. And then there was some little bike stuff that happened. So I just put it all in lyrics and put a beat to it. And there it is. So
And we didn't even mention that about you rapping. You
yeah,
didn't even mention that in your so, in your book, you said that you talked about a motorcycle accident, and I know that you started a motorcycle club. So
mhm.
obviously, that didn't keep you from getting back on the motorcycle. What inspired you to start the riding club?
I was a part of a club, a riding club in DFW, Rolling Spiders, and I was their first lady. So it was me and two other ladies decided to branch off and do an all female club. Even when I got with that club, I told one of the founders that eventually I would do my own all female club, right?
Mm,
Because of just wanted to be a part of a sisterhood, wanted to be a part of it because nothing is more powerful than a woman riding a bike. That's what they say in the bike world. Because I mean, I always say we ride harder than men because we really travel on our bikes and men kind of go to a spot and sit there. We don't. We like to get out and go, cross state, and do some maneuvering around. And then the support is more stronger when it's just
Mm.
an all-female club opposed to men, because men they don't even look at us as saying, "Oh, you biker chicks, yeah, whatever." No, we are biker chicks. Yeah, we do support each other. Some of us do, some of us don't. But that's what anything you do. But yeah, and just that whole sisterhood and coming together. I have an intro video where when my publisher saw the video, he asked me, were those my dancers? I said, no, those are club members in that video. I said, don't call them no dancers. Yeah. So it was really funny. And with the publishers, they were like, oh, you have so much going on in this book. I had no idea. And the lovely part that I love about the book, especially when it comes to men that have bought my book and read my book, they're like, man, I can't believe you made me cry. I didn't know you were going through that much. And I tell people all the time, I say, look, you cannot judge a book by its cover, because
Yeah.
we walk around and we're happy because we're out. But once you come in the house or once you come behind those closed walls, boom, your life is waiting on you. That life is waiting on you, or those memories. And I held on to a lot of stuff that I was going throughout the years. And when I put it in that book, it was like it hit me. My book came out October the 16th. November
Mm.
the 17th, guess what I was on? Medical leave, right? Because I went into a
What?
deep depression. Yes. I went
Mm.
into a deep depression because when you write a book and my book is nonfiction, and you relive that book, when you have to reread that book and proofread it, so I relived my whole life, and I was like, man, I went through all of that.
Mm.
And I'm in counseling right now. When I went back to work, I I mean, I was stronger than when I left when I wrote the book, but I was still feeling, you know, the story. But what happened was my counselor was like, you have got to find something that's going to make you forget about your past. I mean, it's there. You can't forget about it, but
Mm.
that's going to that's going to
Right.
uplift you. What is it that you like to do besides your job? Now, because I look at myself, I'm an empty nester. I have 2 dogs. It's me, just me here. I told my counselor, I need to go back to being that little girl that ran up and down the street and played sports. So that's why I got that membership at the recreation center and started back playing basketball. I
Mm.
was out on leave when I decided to do that.
Okay.
And what I did was November, December, I just stayed in the house. I mean, I shut down. January, I got the membership. I started back playing basketball, and I felt like I was alive again. The running wasn't helping. The mixed martial arts wasn't helping. It was what I loved to do, which was
Mm.
basketball as a little girl. That's what made me feel free. And that's why I titled my song, I'm Free. And I said it at the beginning of my song,
Mm.
as a girl, I was free as can be. Bounced the basketball down the court, but I never took a plea. So I'm talking about took a plea, like I'm going into my case now when I sued. So I, once I started back playing basketball and I got outside of my house and got outside of my own head and got outside of that book, I'm like, you told that story. So you relived it. Now it doesn't bother me. It don't bother me to talk about it. I used to talk about my book and cry, because people would
Mm.
ask me questions. It was like, I didn't know you was going through this. You used to walk up and down the street smiling. Da, 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 da. I said, well, yeah, you never know what a person is going through. Your story can help other women.
Right.
Your story can help this person. I said, yeah, because I talk about parenting. I talk about storms. And if you read the bio, it tells you my life was like an obstacle, up and down
Mm.
like a roller coaster ride. And we all are, but a lot of people don't want to admit it. But and a lot of
Right.
people don't have to admit it because it hurts when you relive a lot of things that was in my book,
Right.
especially
Let me
family.
ask you this. I'm thinking about the women that may be watching this podcast that
Mhm.
may, because people say that a lot when people have gone through things. They say, oh, you should write a book, or oh, you should do a movie, or
Right.
something like that. What would you say to a woman that's going through something right now
Mhm.
and they feel like it's really, really hard to get past the things that they have gone through in their past and they may
Mhm.
be in the thick of it now?
Uh-huh.
What would you say to that woman to help her, like, take the next step to, get to a point where she may have a sense of freedom?
recovering, yes, I would say pray. That's the first thing you have to do. You have to pray. The second thing, and I say this to a lot of people when it comes to writing, write it. Write your story. Write your whole story, but you don't have to publish it. Write it for you and say,
Right, right.
this is not me anymore. Or
That's
say,
good.
I beat this. I won. Because that's what I said. I won my case, but it still hurt. Because I gave 18 years to that
Mhm.
company, right? I was planning on retiring there. Imagine going to work every day and people are following you, picking at you, trying to change the dress code to say that you're out of dress code. I mean, I went through that. I went through that. But prayer and finding something outside of your storms, because all of us have went through storms. Every last one of us. If you haven't
Yeah.
went through a storm, you have not lived. I don't know who have had a perfect life.
If you haven't, one is coming.
They're coming. And guess what I do? And just because I'm in recovery mode, I'm ready for the next storm. And I used to always tell myself that all the time. Hey, once one storm, you keep praying. Because you know how we do. We'll pray. Oh, that's gone. I don't have to pray no more. Yeah, you better keep praying. Because what goes up comes down, but it don't have to stay down. Don't never let it stay down. Continue to pray. I pray harder when things are going great because I know something is going to try to come and rattle you again. So you better prepare yourself for that.
Right.
And and
Okay.
and 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 to tell women and men, because like I say, a lot of men, even one of my coworkers that been knowing me since the 90s, we worked at the bank that I'm working for now. He stayed and I got laid off, but I went back to the bank, to the same bank. And he been knowing me, my kids, when they were little. He was like, man, this book made me cry. It was like, it's so much truth. It made me feel like some things that happened in my life, I can feel it in your book. Because it's not a girl flick book. It's not.
Mm.
It's a life story. And it is inspiring for both men and women because men go through some things too with their families, on their jobs. You know, it's not just for women.
What it makes me think about is I have a framework that I've
Mhm.
created, and it's an acronym for the word elevate. And the energize part of it is pretty much what you're talking about now. It's like really doing something, energizing yourself to do
Mhm.
something to get out of whatever the situation is. And,
Yeah.
and I love the part that you said about, write your story. It doesn't mean that you have to publish it. People always want to, you
Uh-huh.
know, tell people to write something that makes
Yeah.
some money or whatever, but that's
Yeah.
really good. Just writing it out, because
Yeah.
a lot of times there's this saying that I learned years ago where it's like, and it's more about memory, but
Mhm.
I'll trust a short pencil over long memory anytime.
Uh-huh.
So it's about writing things so that you could remember. But
Mhm.
the other thing about writing that I found for myself is when I write, it really does take everything. It leaves some empty space in your mind
Mhm.
to fill it with other things, because when you have stuff that you're ruminating on, if you write it down, it's like you're really separating yourself from it. So for
Mhm.
me, that's something that I learned years ago where it's like I journal every day, and just
Mhm.
to write something, it's like, okay, it you take it out of your head and
Yeah.
stop thinking about it. You could go back and look at it if you want
Right.
to, but it's something about, like, continuing to think about it, that you need to just, kind of free yourself from it and write it down, and,
Mhm.
to start the healing process or whatever it is
Mhm.
that you may be experiencing,
Mhm.
because you have it in your head and not on in black and white.
That's true. And I use this for motivation for myself. It's okay to look in the rear view mirror, but when you look back in the rear view mirror, you can't look forward to a crash. It's okay to peek at what happened, but let it be the past, because we forgive for ourselves, not for others, right? And is
Right.
people kill me with that, oh, you got to just let it go. No, you got to pray over it. You know what I mean? Yeah, let it go. And walking away and letting go, they similar, but they're different. You know what I mean? And I love what I've learned from my story. And when I went into depression, I love talking to a stranger that don't know nothing
Mm.
about me. And we as people, Black people, it's okay for counseling. It's okay. There's nothing embarrassing about counseling and therapists. Nothing. because
It's
you're
a little
sitting.
bit less taboo now. It's a
Yeah,
little less taboo. We're
because
we're starting to embrace it more, which I
right.
love. Yeah.
Because when I go into my counselor's office and I see somebody else black walk out of there, because we just don't want to say that we're depressed or
Yeah.
something hurt us because we're all, oh, you got to be strong. I was told that so much. I was like, strong? Man, I'm tired of being strong. I'm tired of being strong. I was a single parent, raised 2 boys. My boys were athletes. They left out of my house on scholarships, right? So I know I have that strength, but sometimes I just want to be a girl. I want to be a girl. I want to be a
Right.
grown woman that can cry, and there's nothing wrong with that, you know? So
Right.
it is okay to tell your story, but to tell your story to the woman that's in the mirror and say you
Mm,
survived it. Say you
that's
survived it
good.
because you did survive because you're still here. But now find some closure to
Absolutely.
it. Because I always say this,
Yeah.
have a funeral to your past. To your past negative, or something that hurt you. Have that funeral. I mean, literally ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Consider it to be dead. And what do you do when you go to a funeral home and visit the dead? You don't stay, right? Let it be over. Let it be
Right.
over. I know I have a weird way of saying things, but it's just,
That's good though.
it's,
Yeah.
it's, it's the taboo of being a strong Black woman. I've lived it. And I've always looked at myself as being that. But this was the first time that I ever felt so much pain because of telling my
Mm,
story and reliving it. And it wasn't just the job. The family part really hurt. I talk about
mm,
some things that happened in my family that was very, very deep. And I'm just gonna give a little preview of it. When I got my house, my family was just like, she thinks she's better than everybody else. And I wasn't doing nothing no different than everybody else. I was growing to be the person that I am now. But it caused some separation in my family. It's a real separation. And I was like,
mm,
wow, wow. And that's what my next book is going to be about. But forgiving because of, I did separate myself from, I'm talking about my own mother when it came to
mm.
just, she got a career in banking now. She thinks she's better than everybody else. And I don't blame my mother from that. My mother's 89 years old, right? And I know something was broken with my mother and her mother. And so it kind of came
Okay.
over with me and my mother. And I never forget, my
Yeah.
mother told me, and I put it in my book. My mother said that I was the easiest one to raise, the easiest birthed, right? But I became the one that, I won't say she despised me, but it was just because of I stepped out of the box of my family dysfunction. And when I got my house and my sons, it was just us. Whatever they was doing it. But I separated myself from it and it became an issue for my
Mm.
family. And I was like, okay. I mean, I was even saying that I was,
Wow, that's unfortunate.
yeah, you miss Christian now. I was like, wow, you act like that's a bad thing. Cause I was going to church, which I still do. I was like, how do my own family take a positive and try to turn it into a negative? But I was so much
Mm,
grown then, and my kids was, I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to that. I'm not gonna listen to that. You know, it was like, can I borrow this? If you say no, then it was just a terrible, oh, she thinks she did, she did. No, I have 2 kids. I'm single. I'm raising my kids by myself. Y'all over there doing y'all thing.
right.
No, no, no. And this that whole Miss Christian thing, I said, okay, that was it. I was done. I was done. And you know how hard it is to raise 2 boys by yourself, and they're both athletes. I was being pulled, and I was still. And I say this, and this is so funny. I'm glad I just thought about that. I look at my life now, being an empty nester, and what I was doing when my kids were in school. I had more crunch time. I found more time, I should say, with being a parent because being a
Mm,
parent gave me a foundation, right? And now that I'm here, I'm like, it was hard for me to work out. I was doing tour days. I was going to the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning because I had to be at work at 6. Then I was coming
mhm.
home, going to practices, doing homework, cooking, the whole nine. I was like, I felt like Superwoman. And now that I'm by
Mm,
myself, it's like, how come I can't get that organization like I had? Because I had something that I really, really cared for more than me, and that was my sons. So I made that
yeah.
time. And, you split yourself into so many pieces, but it made sense then. And now I have so much time, and it's like, it's not enough time. So it's
Mm,
weird. It's really weird.
yeah. I get it. I get it. You know, it sounds like you have definitely found a way to support yourself and protect yourself from the negative influences, the negative thoughts, and all the things that were going on in your life. And
Mhm,
aside from, just the outside stressors of society that have been put on us as Black
mhm,
women,
mhm,
talking about that narrative of the strong Black woman, and just
mhm,
saying, making the definition of what you are as a Black woman is going to be to live your life in a way that is productive for you. And
mhm,
not just health wise, just in every area, obviously, with parenting and also with your career. I know that being an athlete and you understand this whole thing, this whole idea of being in a flow state when, you already talked about how if you were given the chance to play any sport that you would be good at it. I'm thinking about this portion of the podcast where we talk about the flow state. The
mhm,
flow state when everything is working perfectly, you're able to use the skills and everything that you've learned, and time just seems to disappear. Where would you say you are in your flow state? Before we move into our flow state segment, if this conversation is hitting differently for you, I want to remind you to join us in the Afterflow, our Elevated Woman Inner Circle on Patreon, where we go even deeper and we're holding space for Black women to have a conversation and connection about things that we're typically made to feel guilty or feel shame about. So join us, click the link in the description. Now let's get back to the episode.
Where would I say it? Or from past or
When are you in your
when?
flow?
When
No,
am I in my
when
when?
are you in the flow state? Yeah.
When I'm out running. I mean, when I'm out running and I am at I just feel free, right? I'm flowing, I'm going with the flow of my music. Everything that happened at work don't exist to me. All I'm thinking is
Mm.
finishing. There are so many times that I have been so tired, I'm like, just stop, just stop. I'm like, no, no, no. And that's why I like running outside of the perimeter because I just can't turn around and go back, right? I got to go hit on and finish those 3 warm-up miles. But I feel like I'm at the flow stage when I'm out running and I have my whole schedule on what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do and stick it to it. And like I said, I always look at that person in the mirror and say, hey, I'm in competition with myself. I'm at the flow stage when I feel like, and I always say this, Slim versus Ruina, because Slim is my biker name. So I always,
Mm.
and I want Ruina to win, not the biker girl, right? Because you're not gonna be a biker person forever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, but I'm like, I'm rooting for Ruina. Even when I play basketball, I play a full court of basketball by myself. And I never forget when
Mm.
I first start, yeah,
Okay.
when I first start playing when I was on leave, because I would go early in the morning, it wasn't no one there, but like the senior citizens that's walking inside the gym or in swimming, right? And this guy came and he said, you have a story to tell. I watch you every day playing basketball and you're playing full court. And that's when I told him about my book and I was telling him different things that went on. He said, I knew it was something special about you. That makes me flow when a stranger come up and
Mm.
tells me that they've been wanting to say something to me and just kind of analyze what they see, right? And to say that
Mhm.
I knew it was something special in you because you're playing full court all by yourself. Ruina versus Slim. That's when I'm in a flow of
Mm.
when I'm in competition with myself. Everybody else, I've already beat you to me, right?
That's good.
I always sell and with Ruina and Slim being the same person, it don't matter who win because I still win regardless because I'm playing against myself. I'm against myself. But I do want
Love
Ruina to
it.
win.
Love it. Yeah. Is there ever a time when life pulls you away from sports?
Yeah, there's been several times when life have put me away from sports, and it could be just being exhausted,
Mm.
or just sometimes you get burnt out. And like I was saying earlier, just take a break, and that's when I just take a
Yeah.
break. I just take a break. I don't pick up a pen. I don't pick up a basketball. I don't pick up. I mean, I'm in my weight room, literally. just stop so you won't hurt yourself. But yeah, sometimes you have to pull away and just rest.
Mm.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Do you find it hard to get back to yourself and get back to that flow after taking that rest?
No, because I don't
Or
be
you
on a
just
rest
pick
long.
right back up?
Yeah, I just pick because
Okay.
I won't go on a week rest. I won't do that because I would
Yeah.
literally be like depressed, right? But no, it doesn't take a lot for me to pick up where I left off at. It don't.
Yeah,
And what?
I'm like that too, where, just 2 weeks ago, I was just
Mhm.
like, I just was tired, and I
Don't.
was like, I think this is the longest time that I just didn't work out 6, 7
Mhm,
days a week, and it
mhm.
was like, I was okay with it. I gave myself grace, and
Yeah.
I don't have to, "Oh, Imma start back on the beginning of the month," or
Mhm.
I just like, "Okay, I'm ready now," and I start whatever day it is. But
Yeah.
I text with one of my clients the other day, and I said, "Wow,
Mhm.
I kinda changed my schedule around for her because
Mhm.
we
Mhm.
actually worked out together." And I
Okay.
said, "I haven't heard from you in a while, you just
Mhm.
disappeared." And she's like, "Oh, I haven't worked out since April." I'm like, "Wow, that's a long time?"
Mhm.
It's like,
Mhm.
okay, if I like you said, if I don't work out for a week, that's a long time. I don't think
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I just didn't work out at all for a whole week, but I'm just like, I just wonder,
Mhm.
if you had a hard time getting back and what that experience is like for you.
I really don't because my breaks are not long at all. That I don't
Yeah.
do long break. The longest that I went on break is when I did go into a depression mode because I wasn't doing anything. But and I love the fact that when my counselor was like, you have to go back to what made you happy, and I knew what made me happy, and that was basketball and running. And boy, once I got out there, I was spending 3 hours in that gym because I hadn't played basketball in years. I mean, I'm talking
Okay.
about like 10, 15 years. I played in a little pickup tournament that we did with the bikers out in Fort Worth, and it was so funny. I was like, "Oh my God." That was in October before all of this took place, before I fell into this little anxiety, depression thing. And I wasn't happy with my game, but I played okay. So, but once I got back in the gym and started playing, and that's what made me say, okay, don't ever stop moving
Mm,
because
yeah.
you can be depressed. You can find yourself depressed and you can find yourself in the house, right? And a month done went by. And that's what happened with me.
Very easily. Mhm.
November and December, from November to December, I didn't do anything. I felt like a mess and I was
Mm,
on FMLA. So I was sitting in the house, literally just sitting here, like reliving that book that I wrote. I was like, golly, what did I
mm.
do? And I asked myself, I said, what did I do by writing this book? But it was okay because I needed to get that out. And
Right,
how,
right, right.
and like I said, I'm in my weight room, right? I have a whole weight room. I could have came in here and just did my legs. I had no energy to do it. That's the last thing you want to do is work out
Mm,
and you don't feel it because that's how you hurt yourself. So what I did, I knew if I paid for it, I would do it. So once I got a membership at the one gym to play basketball and a membership at the other gym to lift weights. So I was going from there to there. So I was doing it and I let that gym go, that lifting weights, because I got this here. But I was like, I just needed a push. That's all I needed.
mm,
But, I mean, I was praying and
mhm,
wasn't helping. I was just literally just sitting in the house like, golly. Even my biker people was like, one of my little bros, he was like, Slim, just get out. The bikes are, it relieves stress. I said, I can't get on no bike and I can't think. I've been out hit something. I said, you don't understand what I'm going through.
mm.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I wasn't, I felt myself running lights in my car. So I'm like, there is no
Mm,
way. Yeah, because once you're mental and you relive some of the things that go on with you, you're not even thinking straight. I'm like, no, the only place I was going is
wow.
to my appointments and coming home. But I had to get up. I was like, get up, get up. And once I got up and got out there, I was like, oh my God, thank you, Lord. Thank you. And I know it looks strange
Mm,
to people, me playing full court by myself, but it felt good. It felt right.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful and thankful that that was the first thing that I did was get back and go back to that being that little girl. Because when we're kids, we're stress free, we're worry free. You can
Yeah.
have the most all the money in the world, but if you mentally not stable, if you're not doing something that you love
Mhm.
to do, that money don't mean nothing. It means
That's
absolutely
right.
nothing.
That's right.
It
That's
means
right.
absolutely nothing. I mean, money don't make you healthy. It just make you wealthy, and there's a difference.
I say that all the time. You cannot buy your health.
Yes, and it
You
is a
absolutely can. Well,
yeah.
you're an author as well as an artist. Is there a different flow state in the creative work that you create
Not for me
that's
because
different
I
from
I
like the athletic flow?
write about what happens in life, right? I write about just like my book. Like I said, my book motivated me to start rapping again. And it just makes sense to make it a combo. Because what my publisher did
Uh,
was they took my music and put a barcode in the book now where you can scan and play it. So I was like,
oh,
man, that's perfect.
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, it's because music is a story. Regardless of what
Mhm.
lyrics are being said, they're telling a story one way or the other. You're telling a story when you're writing music. And some people, I'll use Janet Jackson as an example. When people see Janet Jackson on stage, she's doing her thing. But when you see her in an interview, she's shy, right? Because she's more comfortable with singing her story than telling
Right.
her. And
Right.
and 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 there's nothing wrong with that. That's just how some people are, and a lot of people don't understand that. How could you be, so dancy, dancy, singy, singy on stage, and millions of people are listening to you, but one interview, I said because of people are more comfortable with a crowd of people, and they're singing, they're singing the way they feel, or they're rapping the way they feel, or
Right.
whatever it is that they're doing. That's the way they feel. So it's not a
Yeah.
different with me because of my songs are make sense with the book. I'll put it that way. It makes sense with the
Okay.
book.
Well, you know what? I want to move on to
Okay.
our passing the torch to the next generation.
Okay.
So, what would you say to a young woman that is just looking, she might be in her 30s, 40s, and
Mhm.
looking to just, she wants to get active, but she's just like not thinking that strength training or whatever is important.
Mhm.
And she just wants to live her life and say, oh, I'll do that later, or that's not for me. Because I
Mhm.
literally have friends that say, well, I'm allergic to working out, which I just don't get it. But,
Mhm.
what would you say to a woman in that situation?
Just use the Nike logo. Just do it. Just start very small. And I think that's what make a lot of people quit is they look at a certain body type and say, I want to do just what she's doing. Or look at a person working out and saying, I'm going to do that. You can't do what they're doing because they probably been doing that all their life. And I would say
Right,
just with anything small, start small first and then work your way up. But make sure that it fits your lifestyle and make sure that it fits what makes you stop from not get injured. Because a lot of people,
right,
there's so many injuries that could happen when you're working out if you don't know how or what you need to do, right? Because and like I was saying, I've learned that with my own self. I learned with people looking at me and running. I had two guys yesterday to tell me, hey, could you teach us how to run like you? I said, yeah, let me know when you want to run, right? And just playing with them, right? Because I know that they were playing too, but they were watching me. Because sometimes I could be just walking back to
mhm,
my car and I take off like I'm running 100 and I'm taking off real fast and people just stop and look like, Lee, right? So to the next generation of young ladies, 30, 20, whatever, find something to do that makes you happy. Don't worry
yeah,
about what that next person or how they body look or what they do.
right,
Find something that fits you and keep you motivated. I always tell people I have a conversation with my body. That's what I say to myself. When I'm running, when I'm working out, when I'm lifting weights, I have mirrors on my wall. I'm looking at the way I'm building. I'm telling my body, hey, this is the way I want you to look. Because I have to wear this dress tomorrow, right? So I don't need this. I need you to look this way. But yeah, and find some support. Find somebody that's starting at your level. right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
when you work out with a person at a higher level, like with me, I always tell people, I can't work out with you and you're a beginner, but I can work you out. I will do my thing and then I will work you out and we'll work on something that fits you. Because I ran
Right.
routes. I
Right.
played quarterback for my sons when they needed to practice, right? Out here in the street. Like, hey, mama, can you help me with my plays? Let's go. Let's go. So find something within your heart. I don't care if you put a picture of what you used to look like. And I tell older women this, put a picture of what you used to look like
Right.
in front of the refrigerator and make sure when you open that refrigerator, it gives you, ah, shit, I can't eat that. You know what I mean? I can't eat that
Ah,
because I'm finna do
oh
my
yeah.
workout. Do my workout. I want to
Right.
I want to at least try to get back to where she was at 30 and I'm 50 now, right? I'm not 50, I'm 59, but I'm just saying, find something that's going to stop you from making the wrong choices.
That's good. That's
Because
good.
we could be our worst critics, you know. We could just say,
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna even worry about it. I had kids 50 years ago, and this weight ain't going
Right.
nowhere. We want to say that. You
Right. Right. Right.
no, 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 no. But yeah, it's about motivating yourself and finding that support person. If you work out in
Yeah.
group, that's gonna push. Because sometimes, and I think, and I say this, but it doesn't work for a lot of people. Find somebody that's gonna push you, even when they're not gonna work out. Hey, call me and say, "Girl, where you at? Please tell me you're at the track." No, find
Right.
that inner spirit and motivation to motivate yourself because self
Yeah.
help
That's
is
good.
the best help.
Yeah. That's good. Well, you know what, Marina? I am so excited about all that you shared. I'm
Mhm.
glad that we finally got to have this conversation.
So am I.
And I know that women will be inspired by your story.
Mhm,
Please, before we go, tell
mhm.
the people listening where they can find you on social media and where they can get their hands on your book.
First of all, you can find me on Facebook with the spelling of my name, Ruenia Wilkerson, or you can find me on Female G's on 3. That's the name of my club. My book is available. I sell my books myself. I have books here that I sell, I ship and do my thing, but you can find the version with the music on Barnes and Nobles. Com. And it's 12 chapters. It's 500 pages. It is a very thick book. I have a lot of pictures in there that's supporting everything that I'm saying. I mean, pictures from my newborn, my babies when they were small, me playing sports in school pictures. So yeah, Barnes and Nobles are me, myself. My book is titled MF I'm Slim, a Biker Chick. And it really is a great story. It's an inspiring story. It will make you laugh and it will make you cry.
Okay. Well, we will make sure to put that in the show notes
Okay.
so that anybody that is interested can pick it up.
Mhm. Okay.
So, are there any closing remarks that you would like to leave with our listener?
Yes. I would like to say put God first in everything that you do. Put in even when you feel down at the lowest point of your life, because we all fall down. But just put God first in anything that you do. Don't let people tell you that you can't do something. Don't let nobody tell
Mm,
you that you're too old to do something. You're too big, you too little. You do
mm,
whatever your heart desires because people will tell you things that they don't want you to do because they don't want to do it. So whatever you feel in your heart to do, that's right. That's good. That's going to help someone else. And when you do pull yourself up, reach down and pick somebody else up.
absolutely. 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 Well, thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate you being a guest on the podcast. So that's it for this episode, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, this is Coach Flo signing off. Remember to find your zone and elevate your flow. Peace.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
One, two.